Welcome to yet another edition of Red Carpets to Trailer Trash. As always, I'm your host, Ian Collins, and joining me is my blues brother, Mr. Connor Rock.
I don't like that, but we're back.
We're on a
baby.
mission.
Here
We're
we
on a
are.
mission from God.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Is that what this podcast is?
Sure.
Did this come to you in a dream?
We'll say it was a dream. Does a drunken haze count as a dream?
If it doesn't, I've never dreamed. So, Ian, how was your week off? We missed last week.
Well, it was,
as they probably know. But how was your week off?
It wasn't great. Came down with a cold last week. Just getting over it.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but fortunately it happened before I make my trek down to visit my good pal Connor this weekend.
Oh, you're gonna go visit a friend? That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, don't let them know when we record. It's a secret, I think. That no podcast can talk about that.
When we record?
Yeah. We're a whole day late today, and you are going to show up on a Thursday. So figure that riddle out.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, you don't have to figure out the riddle. You know it. You know what's what.
Let's not give me too much credit.
It's one of those like thought problems. Like if Jeremy's sitting in the middle and he's not next to the girl in blue, and Rebecca's wearing, is it Kate's parents' name? Rebecca's wearing green.
Yeah, I noticed that when you first said Jeremy, and then you went to Rebecca, and I was wondering why were they visiting you, and you just decided to use them as examples as they sat directly in front of you.
I just visit. I make them watch me do this. Here,
you're just looking around at the things in front of you like usual suspects, but doing a very poor job. Yeah, no, it was Jonathan, rocking chair, and his good pal, Phoebe, birdcage.
Oh, I don't have a bird cage.
Then what do you keep in the cage?
Not a bird. I guess that's good enough for
that's some good quality banter we can do before we get into this. As a reminder to all the listener,
there's just one.
Hi, Kate.
I don't think it's her. I think she stopped. She gave up on it.
That's probably the smart decision. But we will be reviewing Harriet, which is from 2 weeks ago, but I was sick last week, so get off my ass. And we'll be looking ahead to Ford v Ferrari, which once again, that came out last week, but once again, get off my ass. And then upcoming this weekend, that will be released are 21 Bridges, Frozen 2, and A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I believe is the title.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers, whatever the hell.
Yeah, it's the Tom Hanks Mr. Rogers movie.
Yep, that's the one.
Yep.
And can you get on your ass for that one, or is that off your ass as well?
That one, well, those are all coming out this weekend, so.
Yeah, so you did your job.
So
you will. You haven't fucked it up yet.
No, not yet. Don't worry, I still have plenty of time to fuck that up.
Did you read the last description of the video?
No, I did not.
It's one where we only talk about like one of the movies, and whoever puts these on YouTube for us, who will remain nameless, was just like, we're only going to talk about this because apparently Ian just felt like half-assing it this week or something like that. I don't know what it is.
Was it me? It sounds like something I would write.
Who knows? We got a crack staff though. That's what's important.
And by that you mean a staff that's paid entirely in crack.
Crack cocaine. I made a crack joke to my mom like 2 weekends ago, and she didn't like it. We went to this like high school football game. This might be too much banter, but we're going. Went to this high school football game where the theme was like jeweling's bad. I don't know why. And she was like, you wouldn't try anything like that. You don't jewel or anything like that. I was like, nope, Mom, the only thing I smoke is crack cocaine. And she did not talk to me for like an hour.
Well, did I ever tell you about how growing up, I would like because most of the stuff I did was like I just was so involved in clubs and stuff that once I got home, I just kind of didn't do anything. I just kind of lounged around, and so anytime like I would say, "Oh, I'm going upstairs. I'm about to like," I just started walking out of the room. My mom and dad would ask, "Ian, where are you going?" It's like, "What? Where do you think I'm going?" To smoke meth. That's where I'm going. And so I would say I started saying that, and that was just always my response. And they were like, at first they were a little irritated with it, and then they just kind of got used to it. And then after like, I think it was a full calendar year, a little bit after that, they asked me that in front of my oldest brother, who would come to dinner, and I gave the same response, and they just like didn't even acknowledge it, and he just looked at him and said, "You know, if he's actually doing that, you can't even be mad at him. He's telling you
Yeah.
exactly what he's doing."
I was gonna say, like, you just made the perfect cover to go smoke meth in your parents' house.
On that note, this is going to be a lot of banter for this week, but have you seen the new South Dakota anti-meth PSA?
No.
Oh, buddy.
I'm gonna have to look that up directly after this because that sounds amazing.
It is. Here's just a fun. I'll send you a text over, and then we'll get into Harriet just as a little sampling, as a little tasty nugget. It is quite, and the weird thing is like it's done on purpose. It has to be done on purpose, but it's just done in a way that makes it seem like it was by accident. That makes it so much funnier.
Oh, is it like that really good pet shop commercial that's really low budget and cheesy, but like intentionally sort of
No,
so? But
no.
no, okay.
I just sent the message to you. Let me. Should have just gone through. Let me know when you've seen it.
We're on it.
Yep, that is
Wait,
their
is
new
this-
slogan. Their new slogan for the PSA is meth. Period. We are on it.
Is this like a tourism thing? Like, come here, do meth, or
No. It is a like we're on it as in like we're on the
oh, like
case.
we're cracking down on it.
Yeah, we're on the
That's
case.
so bad.
No, it has to be on purpose. Has to be.
Yeah.
They spent $450,000 on this. Do you know how many people are in the state of South Dakota?
450,000, probably less than that.
880,000. They
Oh,
spent They spent 50 cents per person in the entire state on this ad campaign. That is a thing that happened.
That's
No.
phenomenal. I'm gonna have to check it out for sure.
It is the pictures that actually have people in them are even better. The website, as you will notice by looking at the bottom of the pictures, just so happens to be onmeth.com.
Why? Whatever. That's great. That's spectacular.
Okay,
All right.
I'm,
So let's
okay. So now Harriet, I
Yeah,
say
take a
as
trip
I send you
south.
through one more picture. So Harriet, as we talked about on the last episode, is the story about Harriet Tubman, the notorious.
I'm sorry. I just got the picture.
For those listening at home, it is a picture of three young high school students with the phrase "Meth, we're on it" over top of them.
Yeah, oh my god, this is fantastic.
Oh yeah, I laughed hysterically at my desk today for a solid 10 minutes. But yes, Harriet
So
Tubman.
Harriet.
On a far more somber note, Harriet Tubman was the most illustrious conductor on the Underground Railroad in American history. Probably one of, if not the most badass woman in American history. Led 70 slaves to freedom in her lifetime. Lived to be 91. Fought for the abolition of slavery, and women's suffrage and overall equality. The movie did not spend much time on her childhood or on her time during the Civil War or after it. It only spends about or 10, 5 to 10 minutes on the Civil War.
Oh, that's
It's
disappointing.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where there is so much that they can do with her time as a conductor on the Underground Railroad that it really works out in the way you'd want it to, because the first act is mostly about her escaping slavery and getting up north, and then the second act is about her sort of discovering her purpose, like her purpose in God's eyes is to save her enslaved brethren and bring them up to freedom. And then the third act is sort of the Fugitive Slave Act is passed. What should they do to deal with it now that the only free place is in Canada? Things like that. And
Okay, how's it?
what?
No, no, sorry, keep going.
So the story is all entirely dependent upon the acting of the lead actress. As I pull up her name right now, and she does a good job, but not like a stupendous job. Like good enough to get a nomination for awards, but I'm not sure if she'll do it. It was good enough to actually win. Her name is Cynthia Erivo.
That sounds right. I'm pretty sure you knew it or you looked it up before.
I did. She hasn't been in a lot, but I think she did well, but not stupendous. I think that she'll probably end up getting a nomination partly because of the subject matter, and partially because I think it's
Yeah.
a weak year for lead actress position. Supporting actress, I think, strangely enough, has a lot of competition this year, but I haven't really seen much on the lead actress side of things so far. That might change as we get deeper into Oscar season, but overall, this was a very well done biopic. Um, I feel like it could have been better, but I don't know like how they would have done it. Maybe spend more time on her time in the Civil War, but I think that uh, it's one of those things where I can't really put my finger on why it's not better. I think it's because it is, even when there's so many other characters in the film, it seems as though it puts too much on the main character
I mean, but
unnecessarily.
well, I guess that's fair. Like you mean like acting wise or performance wise?
Yeah,
Or even
because like
just
you have Janelle Monáe and Leslie Odom Jr., who's won a Tony for best actor. Uh, it everyone does a good job in their role, but it's not, no one else really stands out. Cynthia Erivo, like I said, does a good job, not a great job. Um, the it's one of those things where it's hard to sort of separate because the story itself is an inspiring story, but it also has some aspects to it where it's basically she's being led by God to do a lot of it, and it seems like an odd,
yeah, it feels a little weird.
an odd inclusion. Which granted, I'm not super familiar with her biography, so she may have claimed that she was spoken to by God, and that explained it. I also don't know how much of it was fictionalized for the sake of the movie.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, from what I know about Harriet Tubman, there is a lot, like kind of like you said earlier, but I'm sure there had to be some kind of, at least a little bit of like dramatization or fictionalization to keep it keep it paced well at the very least.
And then, strangely enough, it actually was paced very effectively.
That's good.
Um, the I think that's probably what really took away from it is that she was basically portrayed as being psychic with visions of God, and
That's
and
weird.
that's just it just kind of takes you out of it because it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can get behind Harriet Tubman was religious, so they put a lot of religious emphasis in the movie. But if you're gonna say like psychic visions, I don't buy that far into a religion.
Yeah, no, it's I as highly as I hold as high of a regard that I hold Harriet Tubman in terms of American figures, which I think she's probably top 10. I do not consider her to be a literal prophet. So,
Yeah.
I don't think that's exactly a diss on her. I think that it's just a reasonable criticism that I'm not sure there could have been very solid, understandable reasons to do it otherwise. I was glad that they did portray her in the way that like everyone knows her as being take no shit. Like if you get on the journey, you stay on the journey, or you get shot.
Is it a quote?
No,
No.
that is like it's. I think the exact quote was, "You either escape to freedom or you die here." Is the was the quote that she had in the movie. But
Gotcha. Oh, okay, I understand. I gotcha.
it's one of those main concerns that comes with biopics is that there's not really much of a plot to tell. It's just her life from 1849 to 1863, and it skips over most of that time. Spends most of the time in 1849 and 1850, and then the third act spends about half its time in 1858, and then the rest in 1863, and that's about where the movie spends its time.
What's the overall impression of it?
I'd say it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
It's I'm not sure. I mean, you're not a big biopic person, so I'm not sure how you would feel about it. But anyone who enjoys any old biopic will definitely enjoy this. It's one of the better biopics you'll see, but it's also not stupendous.
Okay. Well then, I guess did you? Yeah. Ford versus Ferrari. That already came out, right?
It
I'm
did
a week
indeed.
behind. Okay. Well, let's swap to another part of history and talk about that a little bit. What'd you think?
Well, that is that we are just going to be talking about the preview because I haven't had a chance to go see that yet.
Jokes.
Uh,
All right. Well, then I can participate.
yep. So, would you like to lead us off since I kind of took the reins for the last 20 minutes or so?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, this movie once again not up my alley. Um, it's got a killer cast. I don't even want to go through naming everybody. Christian Bale and Matt Damon look like they're going to be like the main characters who I guess are the people responsible for building the Ford race car. And it's about like this. I guess this happened. I was unaware of this, but like a famous race between Ford and Ferrari where a Ford engined race car was put up against a Ferrari. And about the two guys who are building it, I guess, and just all the kind of nonsense that goes on around it. I don't think it's worth getting in like too specifics unless there's anything crucial I missed.
No, that's the general basics of it. It's based on the true story of when, basically, if I remember correctly, having not actually seen the film, it's based upon Ferrari basically taking shots at American car makers, saying that they would never be able to compete, and
Yeah, that sounds right.
it was actually commonly believed that because the Americans were the only ones that could actually manufacture cars for like a decade or two after uh, after World War II because they were the only ones that had the capacity to do so. They didn't make many improvements to it, and so most foreign automakers actually surpassed most of the American automakers, and there was some catch up to be made. But this is Le Mans in 1966. Oh no, yeah, it was the Le Mans 1966 race. 24 hours of Le Mans.
Sure, what is a Le Mans? Is that like a
It
peanut?
is
Wait,
24. Well,
that's a
Le Mans
legume. Hold on.
was where it was, and it's just a race that lasts 24 hours if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at it's it was the debut of Le Mans start for two significant drivers. We can cut this part out.
We're gonna have to, otherwise it's just gonna be listening to some dead air.
Oh yeah.
Alright, well, regardless of what Le Mans is, you were excited about this earlier, more
Yeah,
so
no.
than I. So,
So this has looked like it's sort of been uh, Oscar bait to be probably considered among the best movies of the year, mostly because of the cast that's involved.
yeah,
Christian Bale is, in my personal opinion, the
it's a,
top living actor currently doing his thing, and Matt Damon is up there doing it as well. Not to mention, I'm just a personal fan of John Bernthal. No one else really seems to stand out on the list of on the cast list.
I thought there
But
were a lot of. Maybe I'm wrong. Is John Berthel the Punisher?
yes,
Okay, I know when you talk about we've talked about him a bit, and I never remember his name, but I know when you say like I'm a personal fan of his,
yeah,
talking about the Punisher.
yep. It's actually rather strange. I'm not sure why I enjoy him so much. It's probably because of the Punisher, but also I don't think he was also great in Fury, the film about
Is that the tank?
yeah, that one he did well in. I just don't think I've seen him do a bad job, and maybe that's just based upon the movies I've seen him in. But I think he's a pretty darn good actor. Um, but this film, just the pacing of it, I think both Matt Damon and Christian Bale seem to have very interesting characters, especially Christian Bale, that they can really do a lot with. The story is, I think, The Ringer has a story about how it's a dad movie where it's big name actors, uh, sort of carrying the load on a movie about racing and like America versus the world sort of thing. So like all of those things that old fashioned 50-year-old, 60-year-old dads want to go watch in the theaters.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably true. It's a dad movie. It's appealing to good old Americans. Not that all dads are good old Americans, but
Yeah, some of them are call me scum. But anyway, the
you leave my dad out of this.
your dad is far from call me scum.
Yeah, you probably like just lit on fire because I said that.
I think he might light you on fire if you hear you say that. Um,
Oh no, I don't worry. There's no way he listens to this
oh,
because he
without
doesn't know about
question.
it.
But yeah, so this is one that's just been hyped. I think that the trailer did a great job of hyping it up. It creates a lot of drama. It's weird because it is one of those things where you can easily look up what the result is, and just the fact that it's a thing that is having a movie made about it suggests what the final result is going to be. But the actual process and how it gets there is something that seems interesting, and the fact that you'll have two quality actors portraying very interesting characters throughout is something that I think will help to keep our attention.
Yeah, I honestly, like I said, this isn't my type of movie, but I thought it looked good. I mean, it's one of those movies like I'm not gonna actively seek it out, but I definitely wouldn't mind like catching it on TV or whatever streaming service these days. You know, even to me, it looks like a pretty good movie.
And we all know how garbage your taste is.
Yep.
Did you ever get around to watching The Joker?
Nope, not yet.
It Chapter 2?
Nope.
Any of the movies we've discussed?
I'm gonna save you time. Nope, none of them.
Okay, just thought I'd check. So moving on to the next one. You really left me kind of cold in my tracks. And speaking of being left cold in my tracks,
nope.
Frozen.
No.
Frozen 2. What were your thoughts about the second installment of what might become a franchise?
Yeah, that's my biggest concern here because there's hardly any goddamn ice in this whole trailer. It's like a magical adventure. It's like a standard magic adventure dealing with all kinds of nonsense, starring the cast of Frozen. And I guess sequels have to be, different enough. I guess there's a little ice in the beginning, but it just really looked like they were kind of just making a movie for the sake of pumping out those Olaf plush dolls or, whatever the fuck toys they sell.
Money! That beautiful, beautiful money! That's just sort of what Disney thinks every time they bring out a new film.
That's just what they think every day, every second of every day, I think.
That glorious, glorious money. Well, don't worry, we'll bring up the glorious, glorious money at the end of December, whenever we start talking about the next Star Wars movie.
Oh, God. Can't wait to shit on that one.
That is going to... One, I'm not sure if any other movie is going to be released at the same time, just because it has, like, that Marvel effect, where it's just such a powerhouse. But also, I have Star Wars thoughts that you will probably not be fond of.
Oh my, I won't be fond of it?
I don't know, actually.
Alright, well, I think we should maybe reserve a whole episode for that, because I will probably see that just because Kate really likes it. So, I will be ready to come, because don't even, I want to go into it now, but it's not the time. It's not the time. I'm ready to yell about some stuff.
Just a full Star Wars episode.
Yeah. We can make it episode 4. Never mind. What are we talking about next?
So we haven't. I didn't actually get into my description of Frozen.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're still doing that. Go ahead.
Frozen 2. So I thought that the trailer was actually fairly effective. It didn't really give you much of an idea of what the plot is going to be, which when you have as good of a property as Frozen was the first time around, and how popular it was with younger kids, and it's been what? I want to say it's been 6 years since Frozen came out.
There's no way it's been 6 years. I'll look into that. You keep going.
2013. Fucking called it. But yeah, it's been 6 years, so there hasn't been quite the Toy Story or Monsters University or Incredibles 2 kind of length to really get that nostalgia kick in for it. But they realize that they've kind of hooked all of the millennials and Gen Zers onto the going to go see these Disney Princess and Pixar movies. So they're just kind of riding that wave. I actually thought that the teaser trailer for this was even better because it was just her practicing her ice abilities running at the ocean, which was interesting. It left a lot of questions and zero answers, but it was so well done. That's the thing, Disney doesn't just make money because they pump out like mediocre stuff. The stuff they make is done very well, and just because it tends to be formulaic does not mean that formula is necessarily bad.
No, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, as much as I was kind of shitting on this earlier, no, you're right. It's probably going to be a good movie.
I will say that their history with sequels does raise some red flags for me.
Toy Story 2 was the best one.
That is just a wrong answer.
That's what?
Toy Story 2 was the worst of the original trilogy.
Okay, well actually, okay, number one's definitely the best one.
Toy
It's not.
Story 3 was the best one.
You thought three was the best one?
You better believe it, Buster Brown.
You gotta take off those nostalgia glasses. You're just like, I'm going to college too. That's what. That's
I
what
didn't
Toy
watch
Story.
it. I didn't watch it for years after that.
I don't know. I
No,
haven't
it
seen them all in
was
a while. I'm just gonna stand by. I think two is the best one.
no. I just didn't care for Pete, the
Oh yeah,
villain.
he kind of sucked, but
I didn't
he
much
was
care
just
for the villain.
he was just the bear, but a minor.
Yeah, I will agree. I do think that the most recent one, Toy Story 4, that came out this year, is the worst of them. Which I'm
I
sure you
haven't
haven't seen that.
seen
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Well,
yeah. It
okay. To
can't.
be fair, the fucking main guy's a fork. So
That's not the main guy.
I don't. It seems to be the new main guy.
No.
Well, what do I know?
Not a whole lot. Although he did sort of replace Buzz because Buzz Lightyear just I believe it's Woody Allen that's the voice of Buzz Lightyear.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, that's right.
Yeah.
Woody Allen is the canceled one. So I mean, if you can't marry your adoptive daughter, then what's the point of adoption in the first place? The Woody Allen approach. But
Make
anyway,
him
back to
family
Frozen.
before you make him family.
Yep. But back to just to finish up on Frozen 2. It seems like it'll be fine. I thought that the first Frozen was a little overrated, but still good.
I
I'm
agree. I
curious.
think.
I'm curious about what the plot is going to be, and it's definitely worth a watch. I think it'll probably meet the ready for the red carpet, just because you got to give the faith in Disney.
Yeah, and honestly, like you said about the plot being, I know I might be walking back what I said earlier, but I think this plot looks a lot more interesting than the first one. I mean, be that as it may, be whatever it turns out to be, it might be shit, but I think it at least looks, more interesting, more dynamic, more
And
like
there's
a
just so
fantasy
much.
world.
There's so much from the first one that they didn't really explore very much, that they could spend a lot more time on. Like, why is Olaf the only living snowman? Why was
There's no way
Kristoff?
they're gonna explore that.
Why was Kristoff raised by golems or trolls or whatever they're called? And we just kind of got past that almost immediately. That's
Yeah.
just a thing that we're like, oh yeah, no, that's normal. Didn't spend much time on that. How did she get her powers? How did Elsa get her powers? I don't know. How much power does she have? I don't know. There's just so many questions that can be explored that it gives you optimism for where the different ways that they can take it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then so the next one, what did I say? What was the order I gave?
Dude, I don't know.
Mr.
Frozen
Rogers
2
was last.
Yeah, or
So,
no, 21 Bridges was last. But
oh.
or I don't know what you said earlier. I'm going off the text message you sent me.
Yeah, no, I said Mr. Rogers last for this, so 21 Bridges will go next.
Alright.
What were your thoughts on 21 Bridges?
Man, I could not give less of a shit about this movie.
Yeah, it is.
Like I don't even know what I'd have to say about it. It's an action movie. It's another action movie.
The only there are two redeeming qualities about it. One,
What's that?
it has Chadwick Boseman as the lead.
Okay,
Love-
that would have been my first guess.
Love me some Chadwick Boseman. I've been a fan of his since 42. Turns out that is not a good movie to take a date to.
Is that the Jackie Robinson one?
Yes, it is. Strangely enough, having scenes where small children are yelling the N word at baseball players
Kinda
isn't
kills the mood.
isn't great. No. You know what's an even worse movie to take a date to? This Is the End.
Is that the James Franco one?
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Yeah, where Jonah Hill gets raped by a demon, and there's a 100-foot tall Satan with a 50-foot long dick.
Yep.
Yeah, all that. Yeah. So that's not Not the best.
What's redeeming quality about this movie number two?
Oh, yeah. Getting back from these tangents that I seem to keep going on. Redeeming quality number two is that there does seem to be something that's hinted at that could make it different. But in reality, it's probably just going to be that like the suspect is actually innocent, and there's this big conspiracy that Chadwick Boseman has to unravel to get to the bottom of, so that he can find who's truly responsible. Uh, it'll be it'll be fine. It'll be okay. It's just gonna be generic cop chases bad guy and unravels a mystery along the way sort of thing. I can't imagine this being anything special. It doesn't have any makings of a movie
Yeah,
that's special. It seems like if it's the sort of movie you're into, you'll probably enjoy it. If it's not, then you probably won't.
yeah, nothing really like jumped out of the trailer at me. I mean, like I said, I don't I don't really care about it. But I do agree it'll be a good movie. Not a great movie, but a good movie. It will be entertaining. And that's that.
Yep.
Do you have
And
more
then
on 21 Bridges?
no, that's about it for 21 Bridges. So, do you have anything that you'd like to say before we move on?
About 20? No, man, I'm done. That was more than I should have said.
Okay, so A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. What are your thoughts on Mr. Rogers?
I don't like biopics, and you keep making me watch the trailers. That being said, I don't know. This one will be fine too. Tom Hanks is a great actor, and Fred Rogers was a goddamn saint, so it'll be lovely. I'm not gonna see it.
I think that this is probably a good chance of Tom Hanks getting his second Oscar for Best Actor, which is a shame because I feel like I still really like Leo to get his for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Some people may disagree with me, but I still think that uh, that movie should just win all the Oscars. So great. But this movie, I think it's Tom Hanks was a great person to play Mr. Rogers for this because he can really sort of relay the kind-heartedness
Yeah, like
very
I don't think there's
effectively.
anyone who doesn't really like. I mean, maybe political affiliations aside, but who doesn't like Tom Hanks. Like he's
Yeah,
just a sweetheart.
yeah, he's a pretty damn good actor too.
Yeah.
On the note of Tom Hanks, did you see the SNL skit he did a few weeks back where he was Mr. Pumpkins?
No, I've heard of it though. I think.
Described to me as absurdist comedy at its finest, where people are just like on a like a haunted house thing, and they're like they enjoy seeing stuff that's supposed to be scary, and they're not being scared by it at all. And then come to a stop where they see two of the SNL actors in skeleton costumes, like bodysuits, and
Yeah.
then Tom Hanks in between them, dressed in like a black suit that has orange pumpkins all designed all on it, like as a pattern.
Kind of like a Riddler type deal, but with pumpkins.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm Mr. Pumpkins. And then they do this weird dance, and he slaps the skeleton's asses. And they just kind of look at each other, confused. And that's sort of the extent. It is it is so strange, but watching it happen is spectacular.
I'm gonna look that up too. I gotta look at meth on. We're on meth, North Dakota, South Dakota, and
It's meth.
Mr.
We're on
Pumpkins.
it.
Yeah, I guess we're on meth is that's even worse. Surprisingly, you can get worse than that. Whew. All right. What are we talking
And
about? Tom Hanks.
yeah, so we were talking about Tom Hanks. This movie seems like it's probably just. I don't really know why this movie exists because they just had the documentary about Mister Rogers come out last year, I believe it was. That was supposed to be really good, but for some reason still wasn't nominated for documentary of the year. Man was a goddamn saint. And my personal favorite story about him is that he once received
Is
a
it the
letter.
fish?
Yeah, it's. I think
Yeah.
I've told this story before, but he received a letter from a blind girl who said that she always hears him talking about his fish, but she never hears him say that he's feeding his fish or has to feed his fish. And she wanted to make sure that they were okay. So from then on, at the end of every episode, he would say, "I'm feeding my fish now," to
Yeah.
make sure that that little girl knew that the fish were okay. And I mean, if that doesn't just warm your heart, then you don't have one, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess like a dramatization of Mr. Rogers, or like, just a biopic of him. It's a little different than the documentary, but I didn't see the documentary, surprise, surprise, but from what I've heard, it did a really good job. So I kind of agree with you. This movie probably doesn't need to happen, but it may. No, actually, I'm not going to talk out my ass there. I know a lot of people wanted Tom Hanks to play Mr. Rogers for like a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I doubt that. I don't think that like had anything to do with it.
Well, I don't even. I have absolutely no idea what the plot is because, as I understand it, it's just a journalist doing a story on who Mister Rogers is and like his backstory, and like that's he's essentially just
I think it's
doing
just
a
people are
day
gonna
in.
people are gonna pay money to go like feel really good in a movie theater for 2 hours. That's what I think the movie's gonna be.
That's fair, and that's fine. I mean the.
Yeah, it has its place. It is what it is. It's fine.
I mean my mother wants to go watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Mine might. Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah, no, like
it'll be
this,
good.
it seems like it'll be a pretty good movie. But generally speaking, it just doesn't. It has no reason to exist. Like it's not telling a unique story, but it's telling a story that like is uplifting, I suppose, just because he's such a great character.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what you're looking for in a biopic is either someone that's uniquely good or uniquely evil in a way. I'm sure there are plenty of biopics out like that. The Ted Bundy biopic just didn't seem very interesting at all to me.
Isn't that Zac Efron?
Yeah, it was, which was giving Ted Bundy way too much credit. The fact that people kept talking about how good looking was made no fucking sense. Have you seen pictures of the dude?
I have not, but
It really
I would go. I would bet my life that he's not. He's no Zac Efron.
really lends credence to the idea that people were just uglier 50 years ago because the idea that he was considered like a handsome man is mind-boggling to me.
I'm gonna need to look this up. Speaking of Zac, are we done with Mr. Rogers? Because I got something to
Yeah,
yell about. So speaking of Zac Efron, did you see? Do you have Disney Plus?
I do not have Disney
Have you seen
Plus.
like the commercials for it?
Yes.
There's one that they have a show that's called High School Musical, the series, and
Yep.
it's about like a bunch of kids whose drama teacher is making them do High School Musical, and I might kill myself. And this is why. I want everyone to know, listener, if you find me dead, I can't say I didn't do it. It was all Disney's fault.
You were driven to it, but you don't have to watch this.
Just the fact that it exists make me sad.
You don't want to exist on the same planet as this television series.
Nope, this was the one that did it. Speaking of television series, did you watch anything good this week that you want to recommend?
This week, did I
Well, I
watch
don't know. It doesn't have to be
anything?
this week. We said we were doing a
Uh,
series in November. Just
oh
the one November.
yeah, I forgot about that. Well, it wasn't this week, but my favorite show of all time is, I think I may have said it last time, Breaking Bad.
Oh no, you didn't say that last time. But we actually just rewatched that. It's a good one.
That
People say it's the
is,
best of all time.
I would say so. A lot of people say The Wire,
I've heard
and
that too.
that it's good, but I think that it doesn't keep your attention as well as Breaking Bad does. It does have a better character in Omar than you'll find in Breaking Bad.
I've heard it kind of tapers off after like the third or fourth season or something, or maybe the
Yeah,
second
no,
season. I don't know.
it's weird because there's sort of like, it feels like a natural ending point after the third season, and then it goes for two more seasons. I
Yeah.
haven't finished the fourth season. I actually haven't finished the series. I've only started the fourth season, and I've heard it's supposed to be the best one, and I'm just not seeing. Granted, I've only seen the first episode, and so there's still 13 more in the season. But I'm kind of curious about how this is going to be the best, especially when it's lost so many of its like main antagonists.
I don't know. I've never watched it. I will say Breaking Bad. I think did it probably. I think people hold it so high because like it wrapped up in such a way that was just like perfect, and it didn't
Yes.
like it knew when to quit, and it closed all its loose ends, and it just did a good job. And you
The
can't like,
exact opposite of what Dexter did.
yeah, fuck the ending of Dexter. Oh my god, I watched that for the first time this year. What the fuck?
They should have just stopped after the fourth season.
Yeah.
The Trinity Killer. Can you imagine if that was the series finale? Was the Trinity Killer? Oh my god.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, because like the next one, there's like, what's her name? Something about like Peanut. Whoever like his new girlfriend is.
Yeah, I don't remember what her
Oh, it's
name was.
Lumen. Sorry, I was thinking the
Yeah.
legumes. Um, so and then like after that, the I like the religious one.
Oh yeah, that was an interest. The Doomsday Killer.
Yeah, I thought that was okay. And then
That
like he
was
just
interesting just because of like the idea, like the thought process. The last season was just dog shit.
yeah, it was like they just like threw plot lines at a dartboard and whatever stuck was like, all right, well it's gonna be this other serial killer and he's gonna shoot Deb and she's gonna be in the ICU and then Dexter's gonna kill her and then he's gonna drive into a hurricane but now he's a logger and he just left his kid with his random serial killer also ex-girlfriend. Fuck that show. That's gonna be my recommendation this week is to not watch Dexter. Watch the first
No,
two seasons. Watch the first three seasons.
4 seasons. First 4 seasons.
I thought Trinity was no, because like Miguel's the third one.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's
I
okay.
still I still can't believe that Bay Harbor Butcher was the second season.
Yeah,
Makes sense though.
yeah. I'm glad they like got that out of the way early. Except for if he's been doing it for I don't know. It's fine. It's all good.
But did you have a series that you wanted to recommend?
Yeah, I was actually gonna recommend a series called Chernobyl. Um,
Isn't that the one that I
that's
did
the one you
recommend
did
last
last
time?
time. Yeah. No, I don't have a series to recommend. I do have an album to recommend though. It's the Baha Men's 2015 album called "Come Ride with Me."
Excuse me?
Yeah, I figured you'd have such a reaction. Um,
I'm sorry, the Baha Men?
yeah, I've been in
Is
the
that the
car a
Baha
lot.
Men that I think it is?
Yeah, like Who Let the Dogs Out? They did the song with Aaron Carter. Those Baha Men.
Yeah. Okay.
They got a 2015 album called "Come Ride with Me" or "Just Ride with Me," maybe. I've been in the car a lot the last week and found some music, and I think maybe the Baha Men were just good. I didn't listen to the older stuff, so I don't know. And I listened to
Did
like 3 songs off the actual album on this album I'm recommending. So
did I ever recommend the new Sturgill Simpson album to you? Sound and Fury?
yes, we have definitely talked about that.
What did you think?
I did. Well, I said we talked about it. I did not listen to it.
You had time to listen to the fucking Baha Men, and you didn't listen to the recommendation I gave you?
Like the Baha Men just came. Okay, I don't know how it happened. They were just there. I think I was listening to some Aaron Carter previously, and then look, it was a wild ride. Okay, I will look up
You
Sturgill
spent
Simpson.
literally over a dozen hours in the car.
Oh, over like probably like a whole day altogether. Um,
You're not helping your case, big dog.
never and never got around. I will look it up and I will tell you about it. Well, I was gonna say Thursday, but we can talk about it next week. Also, oh shit! Now they know a day you're coming. I just spilled all the beans.
You said that earlier, too.
Oh, did I say Thursday? I thought I said like X days from now. It's
Nope.
okay, listener.
We
Come find
unfortunately we
me.
don't unfortunately we don't have a designated survivor in case this all falls through.
Just hope that there's no tragic accidents in part of Virginia. That's all we'll say
Which
about
part?
that. No, we'll never know. All right, give it a rundown, or maybe or
All right, I'll do a summary. Harriet Tubman, I'd probably give it 3 stars in Ready for the Red Carpet. I feel like Ford versus Ferrari is has the makings of being one of the better movies of the year, and so I'm gonna say it's Ready for the Red Carpet. Frozen 2, I'm cautiously optimistic about, in spite of my concern with a lot of the second iterations of Disney movies. So I'll say Ready for the Red Carpet there. 21 Bridges is trailer trash. I just don't. I can't seem to care about this movie.
yeah, that's fair.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Don't really know why it exists, but I'm also not upset that it exists because seeing Tom Hanks play Mr. Rogers warms my soul. And
Yeah,
so I'm going to say that's also Ready for the Red Carpet. We're getting
I
into
think that
Oscar
one.
season.
I think that one might be a sneaky trailer trash. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well, you'll never find out because you won't watch it for another 2 years.
And in 2 years, we can't possibly still be doing this. I would imagine. So we'll have a reunion episode.
Just so that you can tell me you were right about Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like 2 minutes long. Oh, what were you saying? Oscar season?
Yeah, Oscar season's coming up, so I have plenty of reason to expect that a lot of these movies coming up are going to be falling into the red carpet, ready for the red carpet category.
That's probably fair.
Oh yeah, by the way, we didn't discuss Charlie's Angels because it didn't deserve to be discussed, except for the fact that its flop of an opening weekend, where it got crushed by Ford v Ferrari this past weekend, was blamed by Elizabeth Banks, who did like writing, producing, directing, and acting in it. It was
Yeah.
blamed on men's unwillingness to watch action movies that star women, which is very
Of
interesting
course it was.
considering the success of Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel that just came out and both made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I was like actually kind of looking forward to Charlie's Angels. Not that I would have seen it, but then I saw like one actual trailer for it. I was just like, oh no, that's gonna be garbage.
Oh yeah, no, the movie looks like garbage, but it also seems like it's going to. It seems like it's very strange that someone would complain that Charlie's Angels is not getting enough support as an action movie when it started off as being an excuse for men to stare at Farrah Fawcett for 20 minutes on their television screen a week.
That's true, and also like, stop doing these classic reboots and then being surprised when they flop. We didn't need more Charlie's Angels. No one
Not
wanted
even
it.
a little bit.
All right,
Okay.
well, I'm changing the spiel at the end here up. That's Ian Collins. I'm Connor Rock. I'm not going to say the normal stuff. You should follow us on Twitter at something RCTT. I will get the letters right one day. RCTT Podcast. Follow my dog on Instagram at Miss Phoebe P. And we will see you. Nope, that's not. I got to keep the other thing the same. Let's say a few more words here. Another one. Perfect. All right. Until next time.
Until next time.